it is Fangs, and welcome to a Q&A you're gonna be seeing on my channel with Fangs here today. I know you guys got to see one the other day with me and Kyle Walker, which was huge, and if you guys didn't get to check that out, I have a link in the description down below. It was actually yesterday's video. I don't know why I said the other day. It was yesterday's video. So today, I decided to give Twitter another chance. I know last time I had to step over to Instagram because Twitter was being a little bit lackluster on the questions they were asking for the Q&A, and you guys did an amazing job today. So thank you all my people who follow me on Twitter. If you don't, it is @itsfangs if you want to check it out. There'll be a link always in my descriptions. You'll see all my links. And then don't also forget Road to 50K. I know you guys are gonna watch this. I would love it if you'd help me out. We are about to hit 50K. We need 1,000 more subscribers on Booby. Link to that in the description down below. Now you guys asked me a wide range of questions. I tried to get to as many of them as I could in this video. Obviously, I'm not gonna make it an hour long. I'd be answering all these questions, but I did quite a few here. So we're gonna get started with the first one. Let's go. If you could choose between West Ham winning the league and buying a Ferrari, what color Ferrari would you get? See, I love West Ham. I'm a hammer, and maybe I'm not the truest hammer compared to other people who actually live in London, who die for the team, who bleed the colors. Obviously, at this point in this question, they would probably say, I would love for West Ham to win everything before I'd ever have a Ferrari, but me, myself, personally, think of the scenes of me driving in a Ferrari. That'd be insane. I'd probably wreck it within like day 2 because I just can't handle fast cars. That's why I've got Black Betty, the big old Jeep, because I need something slow and bumpy to keep me from going out of control. A fast car, I would never be able to handle that. It just would not work out for me, but I'd get it and then I'd sell it and I'd get like my dream car. I'd get some like hyped up G-Wagon or some kind of Range Rover and just totally deck it out. My Jeep is my ultimate dream car, it was, but now I'm kind of liking like the G-Wagons and I'm liking the Range Rovers and stuff like that. So maybe in the future, later on in life, those will be something I'm interested in. I'm still looking to hopefully have children and that kind of stuff in the future, so I want to save money for that right now, but I'd probably take the Ferrari. What did you think of the Manchester Derby in Texas? So I love the idea that they had the Manchester Derby in Texas, or in the United States in general. It's huge for us to become more accustomed to the sport because here we don't get to see it very often. We rarely see the EPL on TV. We see sometimes the MLS and then maybe La Liga, like every now and then Real Madrid and Barcelona play, but you don't get to see it that much in the United States unless you pay a lot for the extra channels. So to have them come here and like sell out a stadium and then go to LA, and I think they're also gonna go to New York, and all these different teams play, it's huge for us because it brings more like love for the sport, and then hopefully some of our kids will see it and they'll want to play the sport, and there'll be football in the United States, and maybe one day we'll have an international team. Ours is not bad, but it's not great by any means. Maybe we'll have one that can like compete on that premier level and just be amazing. So it was awesome. The only thing that kind of like threw me off, I went to the Arsenal versus Barcelona game way back when, like a year ago in the Champions League. I believe it was the semifinals. I'm not entirely sure on that. And when I was there, it was so loud and the place was roaring and people always had these chants, like always. There was all these chants going on. It was hilarious, but in the United States, people didn't really know those chants. And like 80% of the stadium was wearing Manchester United stuff because that's just what people support, because it's kind of like in other countries that people know who the Dallas Cowboys or the Patriots are, and so they like them. But that's kind of how it is for Manchester United here. Like that's the team, them and Real Madrid and Barcelona. Everyone knows who that is, so they'll just wear those jerseys. So there wasn't like distinguished, like, I don't know. Everybody was together, by the way. There was not just like a Manchester United, Manchester City. Everyone was together and it was mostly Manchester United, and no one knew the chants. So it was kind of quiet. Like an American football game, that stadium would have been roaring the entire time, but it was kind of quiet, which made it a little bit awkward. How long until you stop YouTube? Asking nicely, not in a bad way. So I want to continue doing YouTube for as long as I possibly can. Like this is my dream job. I love it. I enjoy it. There's other things I may be interested in the future, starting my own business with things, but I haven't even quite got around to those. So I'm pushing to do it as long as I can, and it's been a little bit of a struggle and a decline as of recently. In January, I don't know if you guys could go back and see my views from January, but everything was amazing. I was getting like 300K, 400K, 600K, a million views on a video. It was just like nonstop bing, bing, bing. And now it seems like there's some kind of like problem where it's hard for me to get like 30K, and I don't know if it's because FIFA's dead and I'm more so considered a FIFA YouTuber, or if people aren't getting my content, aren't interested in it. Somehow I've gotten pulled out of the algorithms. I don't know what's happened with YouTube. I don't know how to read it. It's actually very stressful and very frustrating for me as a YouTuber because I just don't know which way to go with it, and I don't know what my viewers want to see because I do polls, and some people are like, I like your IRL stuff, I like your reaction stuff, I like your FIFA stuff. And there's no like typical just one thing that people want to see. And I'd love for you guys to tell me in the comments down below just exactly what you are interested in seeing and maybe why you might not watch some videos and you might watch the other. Be constructive about it. I don't want to hear just because you suck at FIFA type of stuff. Like, obviously, I'm probably just going to remove that comment anyway. But yeah, I hope that I'll be doing it for a while. Maybe I only see a couple more years, maybe 2 to 3 more years left in it though. Do you brush your teeth with hot or cold water? I actually brush my teeth with cold water. I don't like warm water. I mean, maybe if I have a sore throat, I'll take some salt and I'll gargle warm water, but I don't like taking swigs of warm water, usually because you don't ever know if it's gonna be warm or if it's gonna be too hot. And I like myself having just like ice cold water to go in and wash my teeth out after I brush them. What toothpaste do you use? You should ask, I've got it right here. I use Colgate cavity protection because your girl thinks no matter how much she brushes her teeth, she could do it 3 times a day. I still get so many cavities. My teeth are sensitive and they're like immune to if I have any sugar, they're just gonna get a cavity. I think I've had a total of like 30 something in my lifetime in between. Like when I had baby teeth, obviously I had a full silver grill when I had baby teeth. So in between all different parts, I just get these cavities. Actually, I have one right now that needs to get fixed and my dentist said that I could record that or vlog it, which I thought would be funny. I might do that for Fubi, but I need to get one fixed on this side that's up at the top. I use this. I really don't care about the toothpaste. This is kind of more so Doobie's favorite kind. I will have any kind of toothpaste. It does help to have cavity protection though. How many kids are you planning on having? I'd say that I plan on probably only having 2 kids. I probably, at one point, I want to see what it's like to have one first. And then if I have 1 kid and it's just a complete nightmare and I don't feel like I can ever do it again, maybe I'll end up having 1. It kind of stinks though. I don't really like the idea of having an only child just because, I don't know, only children, they just don't share things very well. And so maybe then at that point have a second. But then if I have 2 girls, I think in my mind, like, I kind of want to try to go for a son. Like at one point in my life, I want to have a son so my 2 daughters can have a little brother. And then I might keep going, and who knows, this might keep going. I might get a 3rd girl. I think at a 3rd girl, I'd stop. That's going to be PMS City whenever they get into middle school and high school. But probably 2, maybe 1, and possibly 3. More than likely, I prefer 2. Just for fun, suggest 3 boys and 3 girl names for the future baby. By the way, I feel like people don't say how are you enough, so yeah. So I don't have a future baby currently. We are gonna start continuing to try again soon, I guess. They told me that I needed to wait a month, but I'm just gonna kind of like practice and play it by ear and see how that happens. But if I was gonna think of boys' names, I like the name that I was really wanting, which is Brooks, and I call them Rook. I like the name Bishop. I've always liked the name like Brandon. I don't know why. That's always seemed like a good one for me. There's just B's. I like B names for boys. Brandon or Brayden or something like that. I've always loved that. And then for a girl, I've gone between obviously having Brooks and a Rook for that. If I didn't get the boy first, maybe I would name the girl that first. And then probably, I've always liked the name Waverly, which I don't think, I knew a girl in high school named Waverly, but I don't think anybody actually agrees with that name for me. And I love the name Raleigh, which is the name of a city in North Carolina, but I think that sounds really cool. So that would be like the 3 different boy names and the 3 different girl names I'm interested in. Let me know what you guys like. Put it in the comments down below. I want to know what you guys think on names. If you could be the queen of any country, what would it be and why? If I could be the queen of any country, well, my country doesn't have a queen. We have a president who's actually not the best president in the world currently. So maybe they would change it and we'd turn into where we are a monarchy and we have a queen, and I'd be the queen of the United States of America. Of course, this is where I'm from. I mean, maybe I could go back to Germany, but they don't even have that going on there. So I would say probably the United States of America, and I would like pass all this crazy amazing things for my people so that they could have, you know, better health care and all these different kinds of stuff going for them. It would be a hard thing though. I watched the show, I think it's called The Queen or The Crown, and it's about the actual Queen of England and how she got it when she was younger. Her dad passed away and it just kind of went to her really quickly, and all the things she has to go through. It seems extraordinarily stressful. You can't be yourself. You become this figure that everybody has to stare at, and I just wouldn't imagine that I'd want to be that, but if I had to be, I'm just gonna say I'd be the Queen of the United States. You have to pick marry, kill Simon Minimeter, KSI, Harry Rhoda Shaw. So I'm gonna answer this, and this is totally hypothetical, and I'm thinking that I may make a video on this. If you wanna see a video on this, put hashtag, we're not gonna put the F word in there, so put hashtag FMK if you wanna see me do a marry, kill video. And this is gonna be completely hypothetical. I am married and very happy, and all of these things minus kill, I would rather do with my husband. But in this situation, I'm gonna go between the 3. So we've got Simon, obviously my son. So if I did the, you know, the F word or the Mary, then it would be just a little bit weird and incest. So we're gonna have to kill Simon. We're gonna have to, I guess, I'd say marry JJ, because you know what, substance abuse, and then probably, I don't know, I guess we'd have to Carrie, which is a little weird. All of that is really weird, but those would be my 3 that I'd go between those 2. I don't even really enjoy saying the F word as much anymore. Like 2 years ago I would have loved saying that, but when I say it now, I know I'm gonna be beeping out in this video. It just sounds weird. Food you absolutely despise and food you absolutely adore. Food that I absolutely most despise is any kind of fish. I mean, I've tried different kinds of fish, and I know that sounds weird, and Simon doesn't like the same thing. He's worse about it than me. Like, he can't even stare at it without gagging. I could stare at it, but actually tasting it, it just doesn't taste right to me. Most times it tastes too fishy. I tried it one time down at the coast, and it was fried, and it was caught that day, and I guess it was all right. And I've also had some at restaurants where they like super butter it and put stuff over it, and maybe at that point it's okay, but it just doesn't taste amazing. I don't take a bite of it and I'm like, oh, this is so great. I just get grossed out. It makes me not feel good. I don't feel like it fills me up. I just don't like most types of fish. Now the kind I love is the opposite of that. I love chicken. Fried chicken to be exact. I could eat fried chicken any type. Legs, freaking wings. I can eat anything. Nuggets you can think of, fried chicken. I am just obsessed with fried chicken, and I think it is the best thing in the world, so that is my favorite. How many boyfriends have you had? I actually haven't had that many boyfriends in my life, if you consider them real boyfriends, because you know when you're in elementary you go between a million of them. Even in middle school you kind of pass them off between your friends, so those don't make sense. I did have a boyfriend in 8th grade for like 3 or 4 months, so he counts, I believe, as one. I had a boyfriend in 9th grade for about 6 months who was the one before Will, and there was one right in between Will and that boyfriend named Jared who was for 2 weeks until he decided to tell his whole high school that we had sex when we definitely didn't. So I decided to tell them, well, he has a small penis. So he was my second one. And then my 4th boyfriend, if you consider real boyfriends, would have been Will, who I have married and I am with today. If you were on a desert island, which YouTuber other than Doobie would you want to be with you? I guess if I had to be stuck on an island with any YouTuber, I'd probably pick, you know, why not pick Zoe Burger? I'd have something entertaining, someone who could, you know, something's going on, she gets bored, I get bored, she can start twerking. It'd be entertainment factor. And she's kind of entertaining to listen to talk about all the things and the way things go in her mind, so I'd imagine I'd choose Zoe Burger. First ever car, do you have a pick? My first ever car was in, I think, 1990, no, it might have been a 2001 Isuzu Rodeo. I don't know what the year it was. It was a red, candy apple red Isuzu Rodeo. It had a big tire on the back of it. It was an SUV. It had a big tire on the back of it that said Jesse's Rodeo. My dad had it like a barrel racer and it said Jesse's Rodeo on the back. I don't have an actual picture of that. I might be able to find one in the future because I know it was in one of my school yearbooks, but I don't have an actual picture of that vehicle. I do have probably a picture of what it would kind of look like, which I'd pop up right here. I actually really enjoyed this vehicle. It's just that I kind of like messed it up a little bit. I did get into 2 wrecks with it, which was not good. And so I ended up having to trade it in maybe 2 years after I got it, and I got a Honda Accord. And then I went from a Honda Accord to a Chevy Cobalt, which I got for getting, what was it, 4.0 GPA my first year of college. And from there I moved on and I got my Jeep. I had that Cobalt for like 10 years. Favorite TV series right now? Really right now I've been watching a TV series. I have so many, obviously Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones first episode was insane, and the first scene on it, I'm not gonna try to give away any spoilers, but it was to die for. So Game of Thrones, epic, most favorite series like for the last so many years besides True Blood. But I've also been watching a TV series called Fargo, and there was a movie called Fargo which I kind of watched but not really. The TV series is actually pretty entertaining though, and it's weird, their accents, I don't know what it is, their accents kill me, but the way that it's come together, the actors and everything about it, I've been enjoying it. So I'd say Game of Thrones and then Fargo. Obviously when Vikings comes back though, that's gonna be my jam. One free holiday, where are you going? If I'm going on a free holiday, I'm probably going to Bora Bora. Because as expensive as ever, it will take like 16 hours for me to get to Bora Bora, but it is such an amazing place and I just want to so badly. I want to stay in one of those huts that are on the water and then just have like all the food and drinks I can have for free. They actually put those huts at a sandals resort, I believe in St. Lucia, but I looked up the price to stay in them recently and I think it was like $12,000 for 5 days to stay in those, and ain't nobody got time to pay $12,000 for that. What do you think about the whole Jake Paul and his neighbors thing? So I've been seeing a lot that's been going on with this situation coming up with Jake Paul and the Team 10 crew and the house they live in LA with all of their neighbors, and it is actually insane. So imagine that you spent, God knows what they've spent to be in that neighborhood, probably I'd say $5 million for a home, and you're thinking, I'm gonna be in LA, I'm in this $5 million home, I'm in this close-knit neighborhood, it's gonna be quiet and good for my kids, and then this kid, he's not even a kid anymore, he's like 20, and all these other kids show up into this house in the middle of it. Somehow one of the guys that's bought the house in their neighborhood rents it out to this Team 10 crew, who not only put their address on the internet as a business so that all of their viewers can show up, and you know they've got so many subscribers. He's got like almost 9 million subscribers, Jake Paul does, and that's more than the city of LA has in general for a population he has for subscribers. So you know all those girls are gonna show up. They're out being loud, which I understand, I totally understand. Being a bunch of boys, for one, there's 2 girls in there I believe, but being a bunch of boys, they're always gonna be loud, and even if you had teenage boys that might not happen, but it's not more so like, hey, a couple of teenage boys. It's like, they're not teenagers, but it's like 7 or 8 of them always out being loud, messing up the pool. The biggest problem, I understand that what they're doing in their house is like what they're gonna do, but the Sidemen crew have a house. They have neighbors that, you know, don't want them to be really loud. They're respectful of it. You don't see them doing any of that kind of stuff. As for these guys, they just kind of lose respect for their neighbors, and you know, they're mavericks and they do what they want to do and they don't conform to society, which is cool, but then that means you're probably gonna get evicted. Like, the biggest problem, a lot of it I didn't find to be a problem. If they're outside being loud, or you know, if there's girls outside in their medium, I think that's fine. Riding the dirt bike down the street, I feel like it's kind of dangerous because there could be kids in that neighborhood and you're just blazing down the street, popping wheelies on a dirt bike. That could be a problem. And then the setting the stuff on fire in the pool, that's huge for LA, because LA in the summertime has a huge problem, all of California, with those fires, and they just blaze on. So imagine that somehow, some way, that would have gone up in flames and then caught onto something and then created an entire fire in that neighborhood. That's a hazard. And so I can see where the neighbors are starting to get scared in that aspect. And you know, they have to probably have HOAs. My neighborhood, the moment that I started doing, I've done some stuff in my neighborhood and people have noticed me doing some stuff in the park and things like that, and they don't get too mad about it, but you have like HOAs and these things in there, and at any time, if they want, people in the neighborhood can come together and they can like ask the HOA to either give you notices, fine you, or even evict you, which is probably what I feel like is gonna end up happening with them. And I wanna know who owns that house, because like these guys are just spray painting all over it, doing all kinds of crazy things, driving their trucks and their big old cars all over it. And they just, the guy's gotta be, either he's been paid a ton of money or he just doesn't care because he's getting publicity. He's not. I don't even know who owns it. It's just wild to me to think, I don't think they own it. I'm pretty sure they rent it, but it's wild to me to think that they're able to do all these things and they haven't even gotten in trouble in the first place, because especially in LA with those type of people and those people with money, you know that they're gonna be down to complain. I understand the Jake Paul aspect of it. It's his job, it's his business. He has to do these things to be able to be like crazy and do the things that he does. Like, that's how he's gotten big on YouTube, and he's gotten more massive than most people are right now. But I feel terrible for those neighbors who have to like deal with that after they thought maybe they got their dream home and their dream place, and then you get that person. It's almost like that movie. What is that movie that came out? The Neighbors, maybe, I think is what it was called. And it's where you had Seth Rogen and his wife, and they're in one house and they're so happy, and then next door the frat house comes in. That's almost what's happening with them, and they're having to deal with it. The cops, I guess, are gonna get involved. Who knows what's gonna happen, but I'd say it's kind of an ordeal, and I feel like at one point they're probably gonna get evicted. Favorite Game of Thrones character? I've changed between my favorite Game of Thrones characters. You know, for a while, obviously in the very first season I loved Ned, and then for a while I was loving Rob, and he was like my favorite guy. I've always loved Jaime, even though he's been like a villain and he's been up and down, back and forth. I love the idea of Jaime, and I like Tyrion, I like Khaleesi. Jon Snow is amazing. It's really hard for me to choose one, And oddly, it's probably gonna be the one that most people wouldn't choose, but I love freaking Jaime Lannister. I don't care if he's incest, I don't care if he, you know, slayed the king from behind, I don't care if any of those things. He's brought himself back, you know, he helped Bree or whatever her name was, and he's just been really amazing as a character, and I don't want anything bad to happen to him, but I know the moment I start loving a character in Game of Thrones, it just goes downhill from there. So I'm feeling like this season I'm gonna lose him and my heart's gonna break, but I'm a Jaime fan. Alright guys, that is gonna be it for this Q&A for today. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Thank you so much for those questions. They were amazing. I really do appreciate it. If you did, guys, it would be very helpful and very amazing if you could help your girl out. All you need to do is leave a like on the video, get this video to 3,000 likes, and I'll have, you know what, tomorrow I'll have a forfeit FUT draft. I know some of my FIFA people want to see that. If you aren't subscribed, I would love it if you could hit that subscription button. If you turn that little notification on, it actually shows you when I'm actually putting videos up, because YouTube decided not to do that in its subscription boxes anymore. So turn on that notification button, and until next time, see you guys later.